Faith versus disbelief, a false theological dichotomy. The debate between atheism and theism seems like a waste of time. Theism doesn't rely on logic, and atheism can't be moved by appeals to faith. Where does that leave those who can't find answers in either? At some point, we must be willing to explore why certain beliefs have mass appeal and how close they are to what's real. Theism begins its claim with assertions of a creator. The existence of a finite universe seems like obvious evidence of an infinite origin. Unfortunately, by definition, there is no way to assign finite traits or attributes to the infinite. Even though that would include imagination, our limit in cognition gets treated as an open invitation to imagine the impossible. Imagining and personifying the universal origin contradicts the very nature of a creator. With no way to relate except through contradiction, rejection appears fairly easy to anyone who prides themselves on being reasonable. It may seem like a simple rejection makes no claim in and of itself, but rejecting the idea of a creator implies something contradictory as well. Without a creator, the universe must have created itself, or has always been. Since something must exist in order to do, it is impossible for something to create itself. To imply the universe has always been is to assert measurable things are in fact infinite. The law of non-contradiction points out the impossibility of an infinite universe. This line of reasoning would lead you to believe both sides are wrong. Don't resist it. Just like the comedic trope of two friends pursuing the same love interest through sabotage shows neither is deserving of that person's affection, the typical atheism versus theism debate shows neither warrant your belief. What should you believe? That's your choice. Accept what invites and endures your honest scrutiny. Instead of dwelling in our gaps of knowledge, let's explore what we have no room to doubt without contradiction. Anything measurable must have a beginning because in order to have a first of anything, there must have previously been none. In the face of things we need for our cognition, like space, time, matter, and energy. This can be hard to grasp. It is more reasonable to accept our limits in cognition than it is to believe contradictions are possible. Without the ability to imagine or personify the creator, it is easy to assume there is no way to relate. Fortunately, we have a concept that has a role in math that mirrors the universal origin: zero. Its discovery came later in human history, and we learn it after years of arithmetic in our own development, so some see its role as convenient instead of necessary. When we learn about absolute value, we learn zero is the absolute reference point for defining all numbers and the basis of proof for all equations. We learn this has always been true, even when we were unaware. Just as this is true for our personal learning, it also applies to history. Dropping context and thinking about zero's place in reality makes the comparison seem insulting. Understanding that zero is absolute, infinite, and perfect within math should alleviate such concerns. Within math, zero is supreme. I'm aware of the stark difference between how zero is viewed and the reality zero represents. The analogy that helps describe God. In order to separate the confusion associated with the word nothing and the negative connotations of zero from the high esteem the Creator deserves, I use the analogy: God is to reality what zero is to math. Please, don't conflate my analogy into God is to reality what zero is to reality. That would be insulting to the Creator. What I'm saying may seem simple on the surface, but it defies expectations so much a knee-jerk reaction hinders understanding. Zero has a role in math as explained in A. Imagine a book that doesn't just discuss the concept of God, but challenges conventional thought, guiding readers to look beyond the surface of complex ideas. Whether you're religious, atheist, or somewhere in between, this book invites you to approach spirituality with a logical lens, transforming a subject often seen as purely faith-based into one grounded in reason. God here isn't presented as a supernatural being demanding love and loyalty. Instead, using a thought-provoking analogy, Hassan Fly likens God's role in reality to Zero's role in math, as the unseen foundation of existence itself. Worship becomes a path to self-mastery and maximizing life's moments, empowering you to find purpose and fulfillment in the present through the power of perspective. This book doesn't try to tell you what to believe. It illustrates how a basic mathematical principle aligns with the universal concept of a creator, offering a fresh way to explore spiritual truths without sacrificing intellectual integrity. Through clarity and insight, it bridges the gap between logic and spirituality, encouraging a deeper understanding of life and existence.